You see, the movie industry in Africa is one of the negative factors obstructing, limiting, militating, and bedeviling the smooth awakening and enlightenment of black people in Africa. The Nigerian movie industry, I am calling you out. What do you teach Nigerians in your movies? The industry ought to be an institution for not only to entertain, but to also educate. But it is unfortunate that the industry has failed woefully and shamefully. Look at the actors and actresses in the movie industry. They now love to use bleaching cream for them to look light-skinned because the producers and the directors believe that on the front paper, those with light skin are more attractive. This is how mentally brainwashed and indoctrinated we are today as black people. It all started in the mid-15th century when the Portuguese under Prince Henry the Navigator started the transatlantic slave trade. Later in the year 1562, Captain John Hawkins was given the slave boat by Queen Elizabeth I, named Jesus of Lubeck, to take Africans as slaves to America. It was here they brainwashed our ancestors to believe that anything black is from Satan and anything white is from God. The movie industry has failed because of their greed and selfishness. They provide us with content that will add no value to our lives. Content about money rituals, royal movies, a struggling poor girl who later married a rich man in the city, and other irrelevant content that has no meaning in our lives. Instead of acting and producing movies about our great African history and how great the black man was in antiquity, they are busy bedeviling themselves in a capitalist agenda of maximizing profits from the ignorance of the poor masses. When will the movie industry in Nigeria start producing movies about how a black man named Imhotep was the father of medicine, who cured over 200 diseases, including tuberculosis, ampidensities, and arthritis? When will they act movies on how the Europeans deified Imhotep as the god of healing and called him Osclepius? When will the movie industry in Africa forget about their greed for profit and start educating us about how black people went to Europe and gave civilization to the Europeans? When will they start acting movies showing us how our African ancestors taught the Europeans how to bathe regularly from 711 AD to 1492? When will they act movies showing how our great African ancestors built over 600 public bathroom and toilet for the Europeans because of their lack of proper hygiene? When will they act movies showing where our African ancestors built the University of Salamanca for the Europeans in Spain and extra 17 universities, and even taught the Europeans how to read and how to write? When will the movie industry in Africa act movies about how black people have reigned as popes in the Catholic Church? Pope Victor I, a black man from Africa, ruled as Catholic Pope from 189 AD to 199 AD. Pope Mishadis, a black man from Africa, ruled as Pope in the Catholic Church from 311 AD to 314 AD. And finally, Pope Galicius, a very black man from Africa, ruled as Pope in the Catholic Church from 492 AD to 496 AD. When will the movie industry act movies about the Great Benin Wall that was built by the Great Benin people in Nigeria without the use of European technology? When will they act movies about the great infrastructures built in Egypt, like the pyramid, especially the three great pyramids built in Giza in Egypt, the Khufu, the Kaffa, and the Menkaure pyramid, that were built in direct alignment with the three stars of Orion belt? When will they teach us the greatness of the black man? Black man, our history has been buried for too long, distorted and plagiarized. The movie industry that is supposed to be the center for education and enlightenment is even the industry making caricature of our history. They act epic movies presenting our ancestors as bush people, but it was the same ancestors who started the smelting of steel in Tanzania around 1500 BCE. The same ancestors presented as bush people in their movies were the first to carry out the first cesarean section. They were also the first to carry out a systematic process of surgery thousands of years before the Europeans came to be known in history around 833 BCE. Why did I say so? Because in history, a people are known only when they started writing. And the first time the Europeans they started writing was around 833 BCE, when Homer wrote the first two books of Europe titled the Iliad and the Odyssey. Black man, we continue to consume content that keeps us entertained and ignorant. We give value to people that do not educate us and look down on people who provide strong education to awaken us. It shows that we live in a society where we love ignorance. If you love knowledge, then hit my DM to buy the book, The General History of Africa, African Origin of Civilization, The Untold History of the Black Race and the Fall of African Civilization, updated version in Volume 1 and Volume 2, The African Origin of Electromagnetism, particularly electricity, where you're going to learn how Africans were into the science of electricity for thousands of years. These books will guide you to know that part of your African history that has been untold for too long. I say,